Hey YouTube, it's Purzink again, and I just want to give you a couple of more updates on the story of my ink comic book. Right, so let's get straight into it. We have the same character here that we had before, if you haven't seen him. I think he's the cloak. Yeah. My name, obviously, the title, and I've given the guy a cape, just to help. It makes him look more like heroic, basically. So I decided to give him a cape. And I've added a new page. This is like a shorter version. Explains it a little bit less, I guess. So then it's more of a shock when you find the ending, because I think the other one gave it away so much that it was unbelievably and then we got the couple of pages that we've done. Chapter 1 just changed a couple of things. Chapter it's still chapter 1 though, that's unbelievable. Then we got this. Then I retweet this up with the background, if you can see the trees in the background and the new faces. But still really rough. Then we got some new pages. So oops, sorry. Oops. In this section, you see, we have some rocks, and the fairy explains that these rocks are known as ores. Now, in this part, the fairy explains what ores are used for. This page, he wants to know, it's just a basic long conversation where eventually he has to throw a rock into the ore, and he gets some, something rare. And you know this because the way the shaman talks, you can tell it's gonna be rare. And they come to the blacksmith, and then they smelt it all, and they pour it into the mold and such, and they end up with a brand new sword, and that will be our hero's sword. And the rock had nothing to do with the making, like what makes the sword so special. It isn't very special right now, but as you will come to see, it will become special when it, spoiler alert, basically. Yeah, it will become special, let's just say that. And here we have our character sleeping on some kind of pedestal or something, and the fairy wants to, wakes him up, his sword's finished, and the guy is still sleeping. Then the fairy wants to go for a walk, and well, not a walk, a fly, I guess. And he wants to go outside for some fresh air, and we see the fairy walking outside before a giant hand grabs him, and it keeps him there. Now we see a troll holding the fairy, and the fairy, arguing back and all so forth, and that's it. So, very simple, story so far. Nothing major has happened. Just the highlights are he's made a new sword, the fairy's getting attacked, and that's about it. Now, I think the story, forget about what happens, like how he gets in and all that. Pretend this was some kind of fantasy from chapter 1, straight from chapter 1, because that's where everything, starts getting a bit wild. Well, for Jason. Oh, that's the new thing. The character's name, I named him Jason, because I thought that would be a good name for a character. Jason. So I haven't really added Jason to the story except in a couple of bits, but I think I'm gonna highlight it a bit more, just so then it sounds a bit more so the audience gets used to the name. So yeah, pretend it was like a fantasy. it's really quite, you know, what you would expect in a fantasy. Giant mushrooms, you know, fairies, trolls, and I want him to be, you know, have kings and princes and wars, you know, all that RPG kind of feel. Combines games into this. So I think I'm gonna, you know, combine the normal fantasy RPG kind of feel. And this is like, obviously, you know, swords, medieval spitfires, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then possibly I might incorporate some sci-fi, because that would be quite interesting. If he, you know, gets a portal to the present time, which is where you got cars and, you know, the guns and stuff, and then he gets into the future with, you know, lasers and, you know, pew pew, and yeah. So I don't know where this story's gonna go. I think I'm gonna keep it more medieval RPG kinda, because this, you know, this gives it its element of it really, I don't know, RPG, you know, this kind of fantasy fairies. It's so, like, inventive, like, you know, futuristic. Not much you can invent. It's all about, you know, Gundams, and you know what I'm talking about. And everything in RPGs is pretty unique. You know, the Spitfires, everything is pretty good. So that's why I enjoy RPGs so much. So we have these couple of pages that I'm using right now, and right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pages out of hopefully 200. Now the reason I say 200, I don't mind if it goes much less or much more. I'm just aiming around 200 pages, so then, you know, I don't get too carried away and then, you know, lose the plot. But if there's too less pages, it doesn't feel like a novel, it feels like a short story, which is not what I was going for. I was going for, like, one adventure, not many adventures, one adventure. I want it to be fairly long, but not long so then you forget the beginnings, because this is where, you know, it really kicks off. And yeah, so I'm glad I had this discussion with you guys. I've, you know, done my concept arts and stuff, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Next video I probably might give you another progress video, or actually I could show you the procedure, I guess, of making your own manga or, you know, comic book. Now the procedure is not the, as in, this is like the first step, you know, like, you know, writing it out and stuff. So I'll go through that if you know, I get my books and stuff. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.